backyard. Hi, it's so nice out. So I hope that you guys can hear me well. I'm close to a highway. You might hear like that hum. So today I'm going to do a really fun video. If anybody out there live in Canada and are American, live in America, and you're Canadian, you want to do this, please feel free to do this. There's no protocol. Of course, if you live in Canada, or if you're Canadian and you live in the US, most of these things you're probably going to be missing as well. Let's get right into what I find different about living in the US, what I miss about living in Canada, and some of the funny things that I have encountered in living. The very first thing I want to let you guys know, I was born in Ontario, Canada, so a lot of my facts about certain things are going to be because I lived in that province. So please, 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 if you live in other parts of Canada, you're like, that's not how it is here, we don't have that here. This is just from me living in Ontario, and I lived in the southern part of Ontario as well. Very first thing is the tax. So it's 13% in Ontario, and that is called the HST tax. I can't remember what year that changed, but it's like a harmonized sales tax. I think it's pretty much on almost everything. And it's a lot different because here in California it is 8.5%. So for the very few times that I went shopping, I remember being really excited that my tax was like really cheap. Like I'd buy a $100 item and I only had to pay $8. I didn't have to pay $13, $14, $15 on it. I was so excited when I remember I went for the first couple, when I was buying clothes and stuff like that. Huge, because I know there are certain states in the U.S. where you pay no tax or 5% tax, where you only have tax on certain things. But that was really big for me, for sure. It was definitely the tax. When it comes to your garbage, because we pay taxes and all that kind of stuff, like you do here in the U.S., but in Canada, or at least I know in Ontario, you don't have to pay for your garbage to get picked up. That's just part of the taxes that you pay, to the city. Here, I live in an apartment, and when we first moved in, even to our old apartment, they said, okay, so you're going to be paying, your rent, your water, and your garbage. And I was like, my garbage? I was so shocked. I was like, I have to pay for someone to come pick up my garbage? Isn't that what the city does? So I don't know if anybody else in Canada experiences this where you do have to do that. Obviously in Canada you do have to pay for it, but it comes out of your taxes, so you don't actually see it coming off of your rent. It might be all included in it, but you don't actually see the breakdown. And I think ours costs about $5 a month, I think. And where we live now, if you have more recycling, then it's less for the garbage because the recycling doesn't cost money to pick up, because I think it's one of those things that if you cycle you shouldn't have to pay for it. So that's a little bit of a different thing that I've noticed in living here. Another thing when it comes to rent is that here where I live in California, there's no all-included. I haven't ever seen that. You pay for your PG&E, which is your gas and electric and all that stuff, and you usually have to pay for your water. Sometimes they'll include your water, but for the most part they don't. And it's really weird to me because I was just like, my God, where's the all-included? And in Canada, they do have places where things are included, but for the most part, they don't. Here, so it's a big difference for us for having to oh crap, I have to pay this amount of rent, plus I have to pay this? Oh, that sucks. Of course, I should have said this from the very beginning, the weather. I live in, I would call it Central California, the Bay Area, near San Francisco. The nights can get very cold in the wintertime, almost about 30, which is pretty much freezing point in Canada. It's about 0 degrees for you Canadians, and that it can get really cold at night. But the summers are amazing. They are really warm, just as warm as they are back home. But right now, it's January, 18th, 19th, and I am sitting outside in a t-shirt. I'm not cold. It's beautiful. We don't get what I would consider 4 seasons because I don't get snow, but the leaves do fall. I have tons of leaves in my backyard. There's the tree that's in front of me has no leaves, so we definitely do have that where the leaves change and fall. And certain places I've noticed, even in the North Bay Area, that the trees change very beautifully, and I absolutely love it. Next thing I want to talk about is milk. You guys are probably like, what's so different about milk? Milk itself is not different, but there is one thing that in Ontario, where we put our milk in, Yes, we don't buy cartons, even though we do have cartons, and we don't have gallon jugs. We don't even use gallons in Canada. This is what we put our milk in. Yes, I took this with us because I thought that we were going to need it. In Canada, you get three liter bags of milk that slip into here. And you usually, if you're like a diehard person that has this, I usually just use scissors, but you have this little thing that comes with it. Some of these come with it, some of them don't, and it has a little like thing to cut, and it either can go in your fridge or it can just be stuck on the side of this, and that cuts a tiny little slit so you can pour your milk out. Yes, the bag does not fall out unless you like go like this, but for the most part it doesn't fall out. This is what we put our milk bags in, and that's how we drink our milk in Canada. We do obviously have like liter containers and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have gallons. At least I've never seen them, not in Ontario at least. So the milk is very different in terms of like what you drink it out of. So I had to start getting used to that. And for some of the people that are like, oh my god, I feel like that's such a waste, it's actually not, because if I buy a gallon of milk, I usually end up throwing out the rest of it when I think that it's gone bad or it has gone bad, because it's such a waste because there's so much. At least with the liter, when you're done with the liter, you put a new one in, and usually you're done with the liter the next time. And I think there's about 3 point something liters in a gallon, I think. Could be wrong, it might be 5, I'm not really sure. But definitely that's something that is different, and for me to get used to. I couldn't use my trusty milk, my milk pitcher, as they call it. Okay, no, this is going to be about pretty much the food. There's a bigger selection, just huge selection of food. There's a lot more cereals and cookies, a lot of like packaged food. There's so much more than there is that I noticed that there is in Canada. Again, this is just my own personal like what I remember from back home and what I see here. There's a lot more selection here than there is in Canada for those type of things, because there's certain things you can't get here that you can get there, and vice versa. So another big thing, liquor, beer, wine, pretty much you can buy that anywhere. I can go to the store and I can buy it, the corner store. I can go to the grocery store. I bet you I could probably even buy it at Walgreens. Actually, I think I've seen beer at Walgreens. Yes, you can buy alcohol anywhere. None of this LCBO only closes at 9 o'clock, and the one that closes at 9 o'clock on Saturday is all across town in downtown, and you're on the other side of town, and yours closes at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. How stupid is that? I don't know, it's dumb. And with the liquor, it costs a ridiculous amount less than it does in Canada. I remember when I went back home, I was buying someone a bottle of what was that? Tequila Rose. Gross. But when you're 19 and it's your first time actually drinking, if you don't wait, that's something that you got to drink if you're a chick. It's just one of those things that we always used to do back home, and it cost I think $24 for, I don't even think it was a liter, and I like almost shit my pants. If I got it here and I brought it, it would have probably cost like I don't know, $9. I was so upset. I was so pissed. I was like, oh, I could have got this back home. Liquor is so much more expensive back home. So that definitely sucked. The very last thing that I have is the things that I miss. I'll try to briefly tell you guys this. I have talked about some of these things in past vlogs where I've like begged people to bring me things. Luckily, I have a friend back home that agreed to, you know, me sending her money and that she would bring me stuff. But now my mom is going to come and visit us next month, so she is going to bring me things. I'm going to make her bring me things. So here's a list of a few of the things that I miss back home in Ontario, Canada. If you're a true Canadian, you better love these, and that is a Caesar. That's not a Caesar salad, that is a drink. It's commonly referred to as in the States as being a Bloody Mary, but it's not. A Caesar is made with tomato juice, which is clam juice with tomato and blah blah blah, all this stuff. You can find it, actually, you can find it here, but it's very, 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 very limited, and there's not like a section dedicated to Caesars like they do in Canada. So anything that comes along with having a Caesar, I definitely miss. I miss all the things that go into it. I miss going to a place and having one. A Bloody Mary is not even remotely close to what a Caesar is, and to me a Bloody Mary is just tomato juice and vodka, and that's not very good. So power to the people that love Caesars because they are amazing. And I definitely miss a true Canadian Caesar. I haven't had one in a long time. I think since June or July. I can make them here, but there's certain things that I don't have. Like I don't have salt rimmer. Not just salt, it's an actual Caesar rimmer, and it has a bunch of spices in it. And no, celery salt does not just work. You need all the other things. So I definitely miss having that. In terms of like junk food, dill pickle chips, ketchup chips. If you follow Kelly, you know how good these are because she talks about them. They are very good. I'm definitely going to have my mom send me some when she comes because I'm dying. I'm dying for them. They're so good. Jalapeno cheddar Doritos. I don't think that's strictly a Canadian thing. I think there is states in the States that do have that, but here they just don't. I can't find them. I just can't. The only ones that they have at the grocery store are like nacho and Cool Ranch and just regular Tostito type of brand, corn chip brand, and that's pretty much it. In sweet chili heat, I think, and that's it. Pepperettes. I'll insert a picture here. Pepperettes are these amazing pepperoni sticks. They come in different textures, like the European style is one that I really like. It's hard and spicy and really good. They do come in turkey, and they're kind of like a Slim Jim, I guess, but they're not. They're so you can't get them here. My neighbor actually said that he would line his office, I think he said, in it. They were so good so that he can just consistently eat them off the wall because they are amazing. So I'm going to insert a picture of chocolate bars, about different chocolate bars that I can't get here. So here's a picture of them. So those are all of the chocolate bars that I have not been able to find here, except Coffee Crisp, and they have that at World Market. But that's it. They don't have anything else there. I definitely do miss those. I'm trying to be more healthier, so I'm trying not to even eat chocolate bars or anything. But I definitely do miss them. They were so good. Oh, crunchies were so good, and the Smarties were so good. The last thing that I have is not something that I really actually miss, because going back I've had it and I've realized that I really don't like it, is Tim Hortons. That is the donut coffee shop that is like just all over Canada on every street corner. Cheap coffee, cheap donuts, all that kind of stuff. It's good, but in living in California, I have become the dreadful Starbucks snob. Yes, if you are one, you know what I mean. You gotta spend $5 on your damn coffee, but it's so much better. It's so much better than Tim Hortons. The only thing that I definitely do miss is donuts and Timbits. And Timbits are like donut holes that they have in the U.S. And I definitely do miss those. They have really good flavors, and we don't have any Dunkin' Donuts around me. I think the closest one is like 50 miles, but I noticed on Facebook somebody posted that it's going to be coming to the Bay Area. So I might have to try them. But I have yet to try Dunkin' Donuts at all. So that completes what I find is a little bit different, a lot different, and somewhat different from living in the U.S. to living in Canada. Of course, these are all my own opinions, and some of the things you might not agree with, but I love it here. I miss family so much, but I definitely do love it here. The people are wonderful. I forgot to say that. The people are great. I've never ran into anybody that was mean to me. I've never ran into anybody that said, "Oh, you're from Canada? You're a loser." I actually more so get, "You're from Canada? That's awesome. I love Canada. It's so beautiful up there. Blah, 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 blah." Opposed to what I sometimes hear from people back home of the U.S. This place is great. I really do like living here. California is a beautiful state, and I can't wait to explore more of it. I haven't been that far down south, but that's definitely going to be something on my top list. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you are American and you live in Canada, why don't you do this and you tell me what different things that you've experienced from living there. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.